I'm Janna Sullivan with the Tennessee Beef Council, and we're making beef tartine and mimosas for brunch. This recipe is great for a brunch if you're entertaining, or you can just make it at home for a simple breakfast. We're actually going to be using some leftover brisket, but you could use any leftover beef that you have. So you can throw this recipe together within just a few minutes. And a good thing also about this recipe is that you can make one or two if you only have a couple people in your home, or if you're entertaining, you can make dozens of these things. So we're starting out with some French bread. I just cut this in some thin slices here. I'm going to place this on a baking sheet. And I'm just going to do about 6 here today. And then I'm going to put garlic and herb cheese spread. I'm doing a pretty thick spread on here just because I think it tastes really yummy, but there's really no rhyme or reason to this. You can put as little or as much as you prefer. And then once I get this on here, we are going to use our leftover brisket. And I went ahead and heated our brisket up. This is just some leftover brisket that we had in the fridge. But if you have any steak, it doesn't have to be brisket. Any type of steak, beef that you have in the fridge will be perfect for this recipe. It's just a great way to utilize those leftovers and to turn it into something completely different that is yummy and nutritious for your family. So now that we have our cheese spread on our bread, we're just going to add in a couple of slices of our brisket. You can put as little or as much of the beef on there as you want. So now that we have our meat on our bread, we are going to top this with some cheese, and we are using Gruyere cheese, but you could really use any type of sliced cheese that you have on hand. I think that pepper jack or Gouda, there's so many options. So now that we have our cheese on there, we're just going to pop this in the oven for about 3 to 5 minutes, let that cheese melt at 350, and while we're doing that, we're going to cook up our eggs. All right, so now that our tartine is in the oven, we're letting that cheese melt, we're going to start cooking our eggs. And I'm just going to break open about 4 eggs here with some green onion. Just get these broke up here. We're going to add in about 2 tablespoons of water and a little pinch of salt and pepper. We're going to whisk that together here. So we're just making up scrambled eggs. I'm just doing a simple scramble. I've got those green onions in there to add a little bit more flavor, but you can cook your eggs however you prefer, whatever your family prefers. And we're just going to use these eggs as a topper on top of our tartine when it comes out of the oven here in just a couple minutes. So this is a great time-saving recipe because while our tartine is in the oven, melting the cheese, reheating that brisket, we're cooking our eggs. So the eggs will be ready to top that as soon as it comes out of the oven and you're ready to go. So now that our eggs are done, I'm just going to remove them from the heat and get our tartine out of the oven. Oh y'all, this looks so good. So yummy. Can you see how that cheese melted there? So we are just going to top these with our eggs. It's a little messy, but hey, that's what the mimosas are for. All right, so our tartine is done. We're going to plate these up with some fresh fruit. And here's the thing, brunch is supposed to be fun. You don't want to spend a ton of time in the kitchen. It's usually happening on the weekends. You just want to spend time with your family, your friends, and just enjoy it. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're just going to put some fruit on here. All right, so we have our tartine ready to go. We have our fresh fruit that we've paired it with. Now we need to top this meal off with a fresh mimosa. So for this great recipe and other brunch ideas, visit tnbeef.org.